Hey, Todd Gackey with the Family Foundation. We just came back from a Senate Education and Health Subcommittee where they were debating a bill, Senate Bill 280, that would legalize physician-assisted suicide. This bill is very dangerous. It'll put many people at risk, those that are suffering from a terminal illness, who could be elderly. There are many vulnerable people that could be at risk of having their life prematurely ended. And so we had a good debate back and forth. And unfortunately, due to time, not everybody could testify, but I have with me Brian Wills, who is my next door neighbor, and has a great testimony and as to why physician-assisted suicide is not a good idea. And I just wanted to give you a moment to just kind of share that testimony.
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you, Todd. You know, when I was 22 years old, all right, I found myself in a hospital bed, and at first the doctors thought I had a kidney stone or appendicitis, and then after days of testing, they came in with the bad news: you've got one of the most aggressive cancer in the world. So that changed my world at that moment, and so the doctors said this type of cancer is very fast growing, and you may have, well, they said you will have 2 weeks or less to live.
Wow.
So, so of course our family, you know, we told the doctors we were a faith-believing family, and so, so anyway, over 3 days, the tumor grew from the size of a golf ball to the size of a basketball, and I was transported to NIH. And when I arrived there, the doctors told my parents, "Listen, the cancer is growing by the hour. All right, his organs are shutting down, so we'll give him 3 days or less to live." And then shortly thereafter, I was given 10 hours to live. So, you know, doctors, you know, they'll give you the diagnosis, but you know, oftentimes they miss the prognosis, right? Because, you know, I was given 2 weeks, 3 days, 10 hours to live, okay? And so the doctors remained very insistent. You know, they wanted to know why we hadn't made the funeral arrangements, you know? And so I was in a hospital on the 13th floor watching everybody die and different things. But we chose differently. We chose to believe for the positive, believe for a miracle. So, so since that time, you know, the Lord called me into the ministry. I've been going around the world, and all I can say is this, is that we've ministered to thousands of cancer patients, you know, people that have long-term illnesses, and we have seen hundreds and hundreds of people beat the prognosis, you know, overcome the prognosis, outlive the prognosis, whether they were given 6 months or less to live, they could live 5 years, 10 years or more, and then even beat the diagnosis. So I just think that life is in the hands of God. It shouldn't be really in the hands of a doctor to determine, you know, someone's end of life.
Right.
So
what an incredible testimony. You know, we appreciate all the work that doctors do, but we're human, and sometimes we do make mistakes. And what we do not want is a law in place that would allow someone to end their life prematurely when we just don't know what is in store. And so this bill has now passed in a subcommittee, so it goes to the full committee for a final vote, and then it would, if it passes out of that full committee, it would go to the floor. So we're going to continue to lobby this bill and get to as many legislators as we can to speak about the harms and the dangers of this bill. But Brian, I appreciate your time in coming and speaking, and we'll keep you up to date on everything that's going on in the Family Foundation. Just follow us at www.familyfoundation.org.